Hey everyone, welcome to the M&W Sports Show. My name is Mark. I have my bro Will here.
Hey, everybody, it's Will Wright. Let's go.
So we're going to be covering some football today and share Will's passion for the sport. Let's get into some questions for Will. So how long have you been following the Chicago Bears?
I've been following the Chicago Bears roughly about 38 years prior to their 85 Super Bowl shuffle. Let's go.
All right. Why the Bears? Let's start there.
Well, one, I have lineage with Chicago, growing up in Mississippi, but all of my family on the north side, south side, and then also just loving Walter Payton, probably the greatest running back ever to frequent the halls of Hallis Hall. So when you see someone that runs and that was so passionate in what he did on the field with very little resources, it really was defining when you see an organization growing up that's what I want to be a part of.
Okay. When you say Walter Payton, I know you probably played Nintendo when they first came out, right? Remember the game called Tecmo Bowl, and you would use him, and you could always score with him. I remember that. So I don't know if you played Nintendo back in the day or anything like that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Walter Payton with the Bears, they had a full-blown squad.
Yeah, good deal. Yeah. All right, so let's discuss a little bit the past, the present, and kind of the future of the franchise.
Well, I could tell you about the past. I'm telling you something. The Bears, they've been a storied franchise for such a long time. And the thing is, like, as great as the history is, it could have been so much better if they could have solved one problem, especially during the 80s after Jim McMahon, and that was getting a quarterback that could sustain their offense, because they've always had a great defense. They've always had a great running game. So at the end of the day, if they would have had someone that could have made plays moving forward, that would have been great. So when you look at the present now where we are, we got our guy, Justin Fields. Justin Fields is our guy. Like, when I tell you every week he's breaking records, breaking ankles, and when you look at the current franchise, the way that it's set up, they don't have anything around Justin. The defense, the coverage bear, the offense, the line can't block my mother or grandmother, who's currently in her grave, but they can run block very well. I give them that. But other than that, like, when you see the dazzle that he does week in and week out, I'm telling you, it's something that we can build on moving forward and take advantage of his skill set, because when you get someone as dynamic as Justin, he can run, he can pass. Now all you got to do is build around him, and that's what we're getting ready to do.
Okay. Let me kind of ask you this. So as a fan, does it bother you that they continue to kind of be just mediocre?
It does, and the reason being is because when you put your blood, sweat, and tears, because, like, we all feel like we're a part of the team as well. The rooting, the traveling, the following, going to the games, the hotel stays, and the pep rallies, and the tailgate parties. When you put all that energy and then you see the level of product over the last 20 years that we've gotten, it's a tad bit disappointing. And the reason being is, when you have a franchise that stands for so much, when you look at George Halas, when you look at Gale Sayers, Dick Butkus, then Brian Urlacher, Devin Hester, Tommy Harris, like, when you look at modern day, what the team stands for and what it has brought, so many happy days, but also a lot of tears, because when you're so engaged, it's like that's a part of your fabric. Like, every week, Sunday come, if they win, for the most part, you can have a great week at work, at school, whatever the case may be, but if they lose, it's a long week to tread through until the next Sunday rolls around. So when you're so involved and you want that return on investment, which is a W in most cases for your squad, and you haven't gotten that in decades. Like, every 4 years or 3 years we have a good year, but we want to have that sustainability right now where you can have year in, year out, being competitive, doing things that makes you feel great, because guess what? We have an organization that year in, year out is going to compete and give you a chance to go win that Lombardi.
All right. Let's kind of move into talk about, like, the GM and the head coach. Like, how do you feel about them?
Well, right now, Matt Eberflus, as a head coach, phenomenal job. he has the guys playing hard, and he doesn't have a lot of talent, and that's what people fail to realize. Like, you can coach your butt off. He has something called the HIT principle, hustle, intensity. But when you look at, if you don't have the talent to carry out a lot of these plays and a lot of the schemes, like it's hard week in, week out. But he keeps these guys motivated. They've been in every game this year. But then you look at Ryan Poles, 36 years old, came from Kansas City, director of scouting, and I think he's done a phenomenal job coming in, tearing it all the way down, but now looking at building it back up. Currently have $130 million in cap space, got, I think, roughly 8 draft picks, and where we currently sit right now, I think at the number 3, if I'm not mistaken, draft slot. So with that being said, guess what? We're in position to get either A, one of the best player available, which I think for us, it would be Will Anderson Jr., who was an edge rusher out of the University of Alabama. Last year had 17.5 sacks, 34.5 tackles for losses. This year, he's doing a great job with Alabama, moving him up and down the line. Jalen Carter would be another phenomenal addition at defensive tackle. I know we need to go offense, so in free agency, it's a lot of great talent in free agency that we can target. Deron Payne, 3 technique, currently with the Washington Commanders, out of University of Alabama as well. Looking at a couple of linemen, because we need that guy Conklin from Cleveland. I think he'd be a great addition as a right tackle. We need a center. We need a left tackle. We need another wide receiver. And then on defense, we need a complete front 7. Defensive linemen, which I just named a few that would be a great fit. So I think we're trending in the right direction. So it's just all about now getting to the end of this season and seeing who will be franchise tagged, what surprises will be available, what teams are looking to jump up to get a high-profile quarterback, and then really we could just adjust fire from there.
Okay. All right. And thank you again for sharing all this, though. Will, we really appreciate it. So moving on to last 2 questions here are, how do you feel about them transitioning to Arlington Heights?
Well, actually, a lot of people don't like it because it's like the Chicago Bears, Soldier Field, and they're not understanding going to Arlington Heights would be a great move, especially from a socio-economic perspective. We can't host a Super Bowl at Soldier Field. Most teams right now, they have domes. I went to SoFi last year, phenomenal stadium.
Okay.
I went to Allegiant in Las Vegas for the Raiders, phenomenal stadium. So when you see all these other teams getting stadiums that, one, can bring the Super Bowl, but also bring shops and bring restaurants and bring other avenues to diversify the portfolio and just add more value to the franchise and add more amenities where it'll be beneficial for us as fans. Like, to me, it's a no-brainer. We're in a new time and age, and it's time to really adjust and adapt with the time. Now, I wish we could stay with natural grass because this turf is really tearing a lot of people's knees and ACLs. But at the end of the day, I think the transition ultimately will be a great transition for the franchise.
Okay. All right. And then moving on to the last question here. So in your opinion, what do the Bears need to do to kind of build like a long-term sustainable product?
Well, the biggest thing, first and foremost, they got to build around Justin Fields. Like I mentioned earlier, with the amount of cap space they're going to have, with the amount of draft capital that they're going to have, you have to look at a left tackle. You have to look at a center, a right tackle, another wide receiver, really another tight end to complement Cole Kmet. Then you got to make a decision on whether you're going to bring David Montgomery back and have him as a 2-tier horse with Khalil Herbert, or if you're going to look at bringing a rookie or bringing in possibly, and I'm hearing, on the wire, Saquon Barkley from the Giants, that he would be a great fit for the zone scheme that we run. And then defensively, you got to get 2 edge rushers. Right now, the cupboard is bare. We got Muhammad, we got Travis Gibson, we got Roberts. These guys are rotational players. They're not starters. And then on the interior, we got Watts, we got Jones. I like Justin Jones, but you got to have someone that can push the pocket into the quarterback. A Darren Payne would be a great example of that 3 technique. You know, a Jalen Carter, he would be a great example of that. And then you got a Will Anderson potentially. That'd be a great example of that, rushing off the edge. And then we got to get some linebackers. I like Jack Sanborn. He's a rookie from Wisconsin. But at the end of the day, I think we still need to bring in 2 more linebackers for middle linebacker and the wing back, the wheel backer, I'm sorry. So, you know, you got some great talent that's coming up in free agency that we can tap into that. Or if we want to go a rookie route, you know, you got Noah Sewell out of Oregon. You got several prospects that you could tap into. We need another cornerback. And then, you know, on top of that, once you just got to fill in the holes for the 53-man roster after that. But, you know, I again, we're trending upward as an organization. I'm excited. I hope other fans are excited. I hope the team is excited. And I just hope that we stay the course. You know, I want to see us like the Kansas City Chiefs, the Buffalo Bills, the Eagles, year in, year out, 5-10 years in a position to win the Super Bowl. I don't want to see us like 2018, 2011, like the Haley's coming, pop up every 4, 5, 6 years. And then guess what? We got another 4 or 5 years of mediocrity because we didn't build properly. So I think, again, the arrow's trending upward, and I'm proud to be a Bears fan. Bear down.
All right. Well, thanks for sharing all the passion here, Will. Really appreciate it. I guess we'll cut it off here. What do we got coming up next for the next videos?
For the next videos, like I said, we'll do more draft profiling of individuals per defensive, a lot that fits the scheme of the team. Also on the offense, a couple of the players that we will look to target that will fit the scheme of what we're running as of right now on offense. So we'll start doing week to week more analysis on the draft players that we should start slotting and mock drafting, and also the level of free agency, the players that if they don't get franchise tags, that would be great assets to our organization.
All right. Well, we're going to cut it off here, everyone. Thanks to everyone for joining. Looking forward to seeing you guys on the next one. Take care.